Welcome back to another Explainer. Today, we're diving deep into the invisible art of cinematic movement. In professional filmmaking, whether it's a super intense thriller or just a quiet, moody drama, absolutely nothing you see on screen happens by accident. Every single step, every tiny weight shift, every smooth camera glide, it's all meticulously calculated. It's a process called blocking. And honestly, mastering it, that's the real difference between a purely amateur project and a truly compelling professional film. Section 1, the power of movement. Okay, let's dive right into this. I want you to start by just picturing a movie scene in your head. Imagine two actors standing completely still, just delivering lines. Now imagine that exact same conversation, but one character slowly walks to a window and the other follows them. Let's compare those two scenarios. With version A, we have our static conversation, and with version B, we have a dynamic interaction. Now, the dialogue in both of these versions, it's identical. Not a single word changed, but version B feels so much more alive, doesn't it? It actually holds your attention. And that's because purposeful movement is the secret ingredient here. It's what makes a scene truly resonate emotionally with the audience. The movement is literally telling the story.
Section 2. What is blocking? The planning phase. To actually pull off that dynamic movement, we have to understand this foundational step.
So here is the absolutely crucial point. Blocking is the planned movement and positioning of both the actors and the cameras within a scene to tell the story. Did you catch that? It's the actors and the cameras. It's not just telling your talent, hey, go stand over there. It's about how the lens actually captures that walk. Good blocking makes a scene feel completely natural to the viewer, all while secretly guiding their attention exactly where the director wants it to go. So how do we actually do that? Well, directors use a pretty specific checklist. You've basically got to answer 4 fundamental questions before you ever shoot. 1, where does the actor start? 2, where do they move? 3, when do they stop? And 4, how does the camera respond? Walking through this exact checklist makes sure you're actively planning the movement, rather than just crossing our fingers and hoping it works out on set. Answering these questions is how you naturally guide the audience's eyes.
Section 3. Choreographing actors and camera. Once you've got those 4 questions down, you'll start to see that blocking is really just a carefully coordinated dance. But hold on, before anyone takes a single step, there's a golden rule. Motivation matters. Every single step needs a reason. You can't just have characters walking around simply because you think it might look visually interesting. It'll just feel artificial and fake to the viewer. Characters should only move because they discover something, they become deeply emotional, they physically need to leave the room, or they're interacting with someone or something. Seriously, if the movement isn't motivated by one of those things, cut it right out.
Let's move on and look at how this actually builds into the physical space of your set. Think of your camera frame as having 3 distinct layers. You've got your foreground, which is closest to the lens. You've got your midground, where the main action usually goes down. And then your background, which is the environment behind the subject. Placing characters dynamically across these 3 layers, instead of just lining them up side by side in a flat line, creates incredible cinematic depth. It just looks so much better. Take a look at how the camera specifically responds to the actor across those layers. Say the actor's action is walking forward, well, the camera's response might be to slowly track backward to maintain that framing. If 2 characters cross paths, the camera gracefully pans to follow that shifting dynamic. Or if a character sits down heavily in a chair, the camera might dolly in to really capture the emotional weight of that moment. When this movement is perfectly coordinated, the sequence feels impossibly smooth. Okay, but how on earth do they hit these exact layers and camera responses take after take? The secret? It's marks. Yep, on professional film sets, actors are literally stopping on tiny pieces of tape stuck to the floor. The audience never sees them, but they are the absolute lifeblood of a consistent set. Hitting marks ensures that the focus is razor sharp, the framing is perfectly balanced, and the lighting hits the actor right in the eyes. Marks equal consistency every single time.
Section 4. Blocking in action. We've covered the theory, the layers, the coordination. Now let's actually apply all of this to a practical demonstration.
Imagine a teacher entering a classroom to announce exam results. This brilliantly illustrates exactly what we've been talking about. Look at version A. The teacher stands in one place, reads the results, and the students just sit there totally still. Honestly, it's kind of flat, overwhelming, and boring. Now look at version B. The teacher walks to the front. The students react, nervously glancing at each other. One student slowly stands up, and the camera gently tracks with the teacher before pushing in for a tight close-up on that standing student's reaction. By choreographing both the actors and the camera, the scene instantly becomes emotionally engaging. You are completely hooked.
Section 5. Avoiding common beginner mistakes. Of course, getting to version B takes practice. Let's quickly run through some common pitfalls you absolutely want to avoid. So, what are the biggest mistakes beginners make? First, like we just talked about, asking actors to walk without a reason. Huge no-no. Next, moving both the camera and the actors at the exact same time without any kind of coordinated plan. That just creates a confusing, messy visual for the audience. And finally, forgetting about the background. If you've got distracting, unnecessary movement happening right behind your main subjects, you are instantly pulling the audience out of the story. These errors just lead to cluttered, confusing scenes, not a polished film. Now, what's really interesting here is this professional insight. Great directors often spend more time rehearsing blocking than actually filming. I really want that to sink in for a second. Rehearsal is critical because a well-blocked scene actively prevents technical disasters later on. It improves the actors' performances because they aren't guessing where to go. And it completely unites every single department, camera, lighting, sound, so everyone is on the exact same page. When the blocking feels natural, the audience completely forgets there's even a camera in the room. Section 6. Recap and next steps. To wrap up today's explainer, blocking is essentially the art of planning purposeful, motivated movement. It's about using your space effectively across the foreground, midground, and background, and meticulously coordinating your actors with the camera way before you ever hit record. And mastering all of this sets you up perfectly for what's coming next: visual continuity. In our next explainer, we'll dive into exactly how to keep your costumes, props, and these highly precise actor positions totally consistent across multiple edits so every cut feels completely seamless. But for now, I want to leave you with this final, provocative thought. We've learned today that movement should never, ever be accidental. Every movement tells a story. So as you step onto your next set or storyboard your next project, how will your next scene move? Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, everyone. Keep planning those movements, and I'll catch you next time.